All right, we got looks like we have some really good attendance this morning. Hello to everyone out there. Looks like we got a little bit of mixture of people all over the world. Um, Welcome to this social media do's for winning at Organic Social. Uh, we're excited to have you here, and let's jump right into it. My name is Scott Brown. I've been at Nuvve now for just a little over 2 years. I love marketing and I love social media. I'm really passionate about it, and I hope that shows through in going through this webinar with you today. A little bit about myself. I have a lovely wife named Jocelyn and our lovely dog named Bandito. And on the weekends, you can usually find me doing some kind of project at my house. The latest was this faux brick wall, which is the thing right now, right? And this webinar is brought to us obviously by Nuvve. We are a social media analytics listening tracking software and platform. We're tracking, as you can see here, we're tracking the Mannequin Challenge, which has been really hot on social media. We had nearly 500,000 mentions just in the last 24 hours of different people posting, commenting, talking about the Mannequin Challenge. Social media is the way we converse with one another, and as we're all involved in marketing through social media, we got to make sure we know that voice. Okay, the question we're all asking is: organic social dead? Is being able to post, create, and broadcast our message organically dead? Is it only a pay-to-play space? And my answer is absolutely not. Every day you see things that inspire you, like, oh man, that's a great idea, and it's not necessarily a paid campaign. It's not necessarily people putting money behind their message. It's organic, created content that is clever, is interesting, relays a message. Sometimes there's challenges involved. We've seen the Mannequin Challenge. Last year was the Ice Bucket Challenge, and right now there's the Andes Challenge that's going on that's based off of Toy Story. These are examples of very viral organic content that people, just everyday people like you and I, or brands or companies, were able to create and didn't have to put money behind them. So in creating organic content, let's go through a couple of the social platforms, and let's start off with Facebook. Now on Facebook, there are several tips that we're going to go through here. Tip number one: let one voice rule them all. Now, with social media and organic social media, what you're going to want to do is make sure that your goal is easy consumption. We all scan through and flip through all of our social media content very quickly. And as a brand, as a company, or if we're a marketing agency doing it for our clients, we're going to make sure that our message is easy to consume. We're also going to want to make sure that the one voice is consistent, both in voice and in what you're communicating. Let's take a look at a couple examples here. I'm a big fan of GoPro. GoPro is known for giving away their merchandise, giving away cameras, giving away equipment, and this is right from their Facebook page yesterday. They're doing a You Asked, We Answered, and they are giving away a Hero 5 Black. It's very consistent and it's very easy to consume. Coca-Cola is very on brand. The color scheme, the message and everything, you can't see it here, but their message was about Veterans Day and celebrating and thanking the veterans that serve in the military. Tip number two: be quick and responsive. This is a kind of new feature to Facebook, relatively new. Your quickness in responding to messages, the faster you respond, the better it is for your company, especially if you're using this for customer service. There are several real benefits of being quick to respond. You show up higher in search results for organic population, and there's instant gratification. You're talking real time. I have a friend that recently communicated with his cell phone service provider, Verizon, and they responded immediately, and they were able to resolve his concern. And that real-time organic communication is very beneficial for your brand or for your client's brand. Okay, number three, share other people's posts. On Facebook, you don't always have to share your posts. You don't always have to be saying what you're doing and what is so great about you. An example of this is Tesla. They had an article that was written about them, but it was from thedrive.com, and they shared it that way. You can also share industry-related stories, blog posts, even creative things that you see, like this is really applicable to our industry, or this is really applicable to my audience, people that will care about this, they'll love this meme, they'll love this graphic. This strategy will make you more human and more understandable, and in social media you really are trying to be that. You're really trying to be human and understandable and not just a robot, to say, especially with organic. Number 4, let's go right into that. Be human and personable. Number 4, you don't want to be Baymax. So those of you that know this character on the screen is from the Disney movie Big Hero 6, where he's kind of a robot, but he kind of has like human characteristics. In social media, you want to be very personable. You want to be very human and your responses. Sometimes you can even respond. I like to respond sometimes even with my first name, so that the person that I'm responding to knows that it's not just an automated message. It's not just some person just writing up messages. It's actually a human being. My name's Scott, and I'm here to help you, and I'm here to take care of your question or concern. Here are a couple of examples of being human and being making fun. Yes, I know you're all wondering, does Pinterest have a Facebook page? They do, and on Pinterest's Facebook page, they're trying to squash the pumpkin spice fall flavor that everyone loves, and they're talking about this beer cheese soup and sharing that and joking along with that. And then you can see here this car chase with a smart car and a police car. To me, it looks like cat and mouse. I don't know why they don't look like a cat and a mouse, but they come across as a cat and a mouse to me. Facebook tip number 5 is know your fans. We all know this. We're in marketing, we're in social media, but do we really know our fans? There are several tools that you can use. I personally love to look at my Google Analytics to see people that come to my website and see things that they're into. Facebook also provides some analytics. You can see here, these are statistics for people that come to Nuvi's Facebook page. You can see here that we are trending very in the male population, which for some Facebook pages that's kind of unheard of. But there are several different places you can look for analytics to find out about your fans and your audience, and just communicating with them is another way to get to know your fans. Number 6 is be reliable. Especially on Facebook, you don't want to post too often unless you're Darren Ravel of ESPN or someone you're constantly looking for information, because we all have those friends that post too often and post either really hot, controversial content or really depressing things, and you want to keep your message consistent and be reliable. So your message is consistent, your posting is consistent. It's either once a day or 2 times a week. It just depends on your brand and your industry, but be reliable. And then number 7 is be original. Now, in our day and age, it's really hard to be original, right? Everyone's creative in their own way, but it's really hard to be original. And so what I like to do is to take things that may already be out there and spin them in a different way, or try something different associated with that. An example of that we did here at Nuvi is the Mannequin Challenge. We were lucky enough to get everyone in the company to join, and we went around and we did the slow camera. And so the one thing that I wanted to do is I wanted to make it more engaging and more fun, and so we put a little bit of a contest into it, and we hid hats throughout the Mannequin Challenge. As you can see here, down next to her yoga mat here, she has a hat placed there, and as the camera went through, you see these Easter eggs of hats, as well as people that were wearing hats. And we went through and counted how many hats there were, and we did a little bit of a contest. Now, I know that's not necessarily not paying to play, because we did have a little bit of an incentive there, and we did promote that and share, and we had winners that we were able to give gift cards to and some Nuvi swag. But it's a little bit more of an organic way, a little bit more creative way to take something and be original on an idea that already exists. All right, the mighty Twitter. Twitter is easily my favorite social media platform. I get up in the morning, I get out of bed, and sometimes I don't even not even out of bed yet. But I get right on Twitter and I see what's trending. I see what things are happening both locally, near my house and near my home here in Utah, as well as nationally and globally. There's no other platform really to me that can provide me with that information. So number one tip for creating organic content on Twitter is consistent branding. You're going to see very consistent color schemes and very consistent branding throughout your Twitter profile, so that when people are either on their desktops at work or on their mobile phones in the morning or at night, they are scanning across the Twitter feed, which, as we all know, gets completely full, and you don't see nearly half of the content that's there. But the more consistent you are, the more quickly it is to recognize, oh, that's a Nuvi post, or that's a Coca-Cola post, or that's the brands, the things that you care about, that you're going to, and that your audience is going to pay attention to. Number two, retweet content. Now, some of you are going to say this is the most obvious tip that you're going to receive is to retweet content, and that's true. That is true. But it's good to remember that by retweeting content, you're not only just sharing what people have shared with you, you're sharing and showing that your audience, that you care about them, and that they tagged you in these things, or that they mentioned you, and you're proud of the work that they do. Especially as a brand and as a company, a lot of brands ask for retweets and ask for people to share content with them. Also on Twitter, be active. The Twitter feed goes at a really fast pace, and as we all know, you're gonna see things and you're not gonna see things. And so the more active you are, without being overly active, but the more active you are, the more chance it is that your organic post will be seen. Don't be afraid to reuse content occasionally. If you have a great blog post that does really well, make sure you repost it at a different time, a different day, maybe even on the weekend, so that you can continue to reuse that content and show your audience that you are active throughout the week. Number four, take advantage of Twitter lists. Twitter lists are where you can, to be honest, I'm not the best at Twitter lists. I've been working on that lately, but I find this really helpful for a lot of our sales team. They're able to keep track of people that are potential clients, or people that they've contacted, or they create lists for those that have nothing to do with work, right? So you can go into those lists and see the content that you want to consume that from other than work. And then number five is an obvious one, especially for us at Nuvi, is to monitor your company name. Many brands and industries and clients and prospective clients and ad agencies, monitoring your company name is extremely important. Especially with Nuvi, you can use it to monitor not just when you get mentioned. I mean, you can get mentions, right, and they show up on your phone. Oh, you were mentioned in this article. But with Nuvi specifically, you can track keywords. A lot of times people will mention Nuvi and they won't do @Nuvi, or they won't say #Nuvi, or specifically in a blog post or an article, they'll mention Nuvi and how they use Nuvi to win, or how they use Nuvi to monitor an event. And those mentions are extremely important, because they're people that are talking about you, talking about your brand, and then you can communicate, you can retweet, you can reach out to those people that are mentioning you that you otherwise wouldn't have been able to see. Number six, pin a great tweet. So pin a tweet up to the top of your page. What that means is it's going to stay there regardless. As people go to your profile and scroll down, that tweet is going to stay at the top. Now, pinning a tweet is great for offers. Like, for example, here, Darren, he's got download my ebook to become a hashtag expert. So you can have ebooks, you can have offers, upcoming events, attend our webinar, attend our holiday gathering, different things that people will think is important and is relevant for the time, and you can change those throughout. Again, I love Twitter, and Twitter is not dead. It's a very fantastic platform that continues to grow. Mighty Instagram. The top tip on Instagram might seem a little obvious, but it's to focus on engagement. Instagram is all about engagement. It's about commenting, sharing, liking, encouraging others to like and share, creating content that people will engage with and love. Number two is to find your niche. And so your niche, either as a brand or a company, could be modern art here, or my personal favorite is I really like classic trucks. And so I follow the things that I care about is classic trucks. So if you're a brand that is selling parts or selling shirts or selling things that are associated with classic vehicles, of course you need to find your niche, and that's where you're going to create content that that your audience is going to care about and is going to share and like and engage with. Number 3, use a link in your bio. We do this fairly often at Nuvie in sharing our blog posts. We like to create a little image and we share that on our Instagram, and we put the link to our blog post in our bio. It's very easy. You just go into your bio and edit the link and add your, like you can see here, they have like a bit.ly link, a modified link that will just take people away from your Instagram profile right into your content and right to your website. Number 4 is get featured by bigger profiles. Now this is a fun one. This is where you really get to participate with people that are in your audience or people in your industry. One of my favorite things to do is I watch Instagram's posts. So Instagram posts, they have the weekly fluff. They also have the World Weekend Hashtag Project. I think I have, yeah, right here. The weekly fluff. So they'll post pictures each week of different animals, pets, different things, and obviously with my dog, I'm all over dogs and animals, and I love consuming that kind of media. But also the Weekend Hashtag Project. So here on the right, you're going to see their theme was in motion, and so people were posting videos, slow-mos, any kind of motion photography that would be intriguing to the audience. And you know, if you get Instagram to retweet or re-show your content, you're winning big. And it doesn't have to be. You don't have to get the biggest of the big to reshare your content. Even if it is just, we had a costume contest for Halloween, and one of our team members dressed up as the Ricola cough drop guy. I don't know what you would properly call that guy. But he took a picture of himself, took a selfie, and he posted it out there, and Ricola noticed and commented and told him how great his costume was and that it was one of the best ones. It really was fantastic. Tip number 5, use industry-relevant hashtags. This may seem very obvious, but there are a lot of hashtags inside of each industry. For example, this is my lovely wife's work. She is a professional makeup artist, and so she's going to use specific hashtags that are specific to her industry. Now, a lot of brands don't think about that, and they don't think about, well, obviously, you know, I want to put the hashtag selfie, I want to put the hashtag behind the scenes, but as brands and as corporate companies or as marketing agencies or as ad agencies, make sure you're using the industry-related hashtags, because that's how you're going to find new people that have never heard of you before, is through hashtags and through jumping into that part of the conversation. Tip number 6 is a little obvious with Instagram. Use high-quality photos with a consistent style. Now, this was just brought up to me that our Nuvie Instagram is not as consistent as it probably should be. I admit it really isn't. We use Instagram for a lot of our internal culture, and we use it to help push some of our blog content. And there's something that we're definitely going to work on and get better. I mean, this Chris Burkhardt is obviously a professional photographer, and we can all do our very best to make our content as beautiful and as crisp as it is, and work on getting better at that specific tip. And then I wanted just to share some other ways we were able to use Instagram as well as other social platforms. We used a great company called Photobox for our grand opening of our headquarters, and some of you were able to participate in this. We encouraged our fans and customers around the world to post to Instagram or Twitter, and they can post where they use their Nuvie, where they do their work. And we had posts from all over the world come in, and Photobox takes them and prints them into these 3x5 kind of like Polaroid pictures that we then took and hung to our wall, is showing people all over the world and showing our customers where they're using Nuvie. And just interesting ways to use social media that aren't just the usual create and post. Pinterest. All right, let's move on to Pinterest. The first tip of Pinterest is to correctly label your boards. We love Cotopaxi, and these are some of the things that they really excel at. If you look at these different boards that they have, or they have pinned tweets to, they have them very well organized. They have adventuring specific tweets that have trails and tips on where to go. Into the Wild shows products, their products, actually people using them throughout the day-to-day life, or if they're going camping. They also have this board over here for llamas, Llama Love. Llama is their mascot or their logo, and people love llamas. And so people, as they get things, they post or pin about llamas. They put them into the Llama Love board. And then the For Him category. I mean, I'm instantly, okay, well, that's what I want to click on. I want to look at the For Him board, but that could also be for spouses or significant others that are looking for gifts or presents for a certain someone. So correctly label your boards. Number 2, fill out your pin descriptions. Now, again, this should be very simple and very easy, but it's astounding how many times that people don't fill out their pin descriptions. Keep it simple, keep it short, but make it very specific as to what it is. Number 3, be inspired by the content you find. Now, everyone loves Pinterest for this exact one, is going and looking. I admit I do it a lot for house projects and things around the home. I'll look up and type in, brick walls and see millions of posts and pins about how to post or how to make brick walls. And from that, we'll lead right into number 4, finding out what your audience likes. You can see here that some of the examples of these are all animals that like technology. And if we better understand our audience, we know that maybe our audience is really into cats but doesn't like dogs, or for example, the Cotopaxi used llamas. Make sure we know what our audience likes and create our boards and our pins accordingly. Number 5, get your profile verified. Now, Pinterest is a little different than some of the other social profiles or social platforms. You can get your profile verified just by following a couple simple steps, and you can find that on Pinterest.com. But do that, get that little red check, as we all strive for on Twitter and on other platforms, and you will see great results from being a verified Pinterest user. Number 6, use hidden boards to save content. Now, if you're on Pinterest all the time and all day long, you're going to find a lot of content that you can't just share every single minute and pin every single moment. So use hidden boards to store that content, to hold it until you really need to use it, or maybe you don't even use the content at all. But use secret boards. I do this a lot also with home improvement things. Is I'll put them in there into my secret board just for saving them for later. Maybe it's something I'm really into right now, and then I go back 6 months and I don't really like the different things. But use secret boards to save content. And number 7, join community boards. Yeah, it's called social media, and Pinterest is a social platform. It's very important to go out and join community boards and join in the conversation. There is a specific community board for social media. There's a specific community board for content creators. And you'll be amazed at the things that you go in, you find that you can adapt to your company, to your brand, or to your client. Maybe you're looking for something a little different that the client wants, that they want to be inspired by. And you can go into these community boards and find specific things that you can blend or adjust to make them fit your company and your brand. All right, LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a very hot social network right now. But there are some tricks to LinkedIn. Number 1, personalize your connection and recommendation requests. Now, we all get them. We all get them in our emails all day long. I'd like to connect with you on LinkedIn, right? Or whatever the simple message is. And we all, I'm guilty of it, skip them. Really, when you're looking to connect with people, really personalize that connection. It doesn't have to be long. You look at these, there's 2 or 3 sentences, and we all have time to write 2 or 3 sentences. But when we connect with people, remind them how you met, remind them where you met, and any other piece of information, just as like you would if you saw someone outside of work or outside of a professional setting and you run into them. You're going to remind them, oh yeah, I met you at this conference, or we talked with your friend so-and-so. It's a very simple thing that all of us can do that will drastically improve our LinkedIn social reach as well as influence. Number 2, choose groups wisely and participate. Now, don't go join every group. Don't be that guy. Join groups that are specific to either you and your industry, things that you're passionate about. For example, I would join social media groups. I'd join groups that were about content creation. I'd join groups about digital marketing and marketing, SaaS, things that were specific to me and the things that I would want to communicate about. Because if I can't communicate in the group, then why am I there? If I can't add, then I'm just a black hole, just sucking in information and taking things that I'm not participating in. Number 3, complete your company page. You'd be surprised at how many pages aren't complete. This one example here is fantastic. I mean, Evernote. You look at this image, and everything about this is spot on. Evernote is, for those of you that don't know, is a note-taking and organization tool. I love Evernote. And if you look at this picture, everything about this says organization, and it's very clean. Every little piece of it, you can see the app on all the different devices, and then the 2 people in the background as well, as you can collaborate on your notes. And of course, this little blue tag up here on the left that they were awarded by LinkedIn as one of the best company pages because they did such a beautiful job on completing their company page. Number 4, use proper grammar and spelling. I'm not going to lie, everyone has their mistakes, right? Everyone makes mistakes on occasion, and we're in the same way. But in marketing and advertising and PR and in any of our industry, it's very important that we use proper grammar and spelling. I love this this card here, this meme or this whatever. Good grammar is like personal hygiene. You can ignore it if you want, but don't be surprised when people draw their conclusions. I'm very passionate about this, and we all make mistakes. I make mistakes, but it's very important that we use proper grammar and spelling. And number 5 is remember that LinkedIn is professional. We don't want to get too opinionated on LinkedIn. We don't want to share too personal of information. People aren't there to read about your dog. People aren't there to read about your cat or things like that. People are there to learn and grow professionally. You can share opinions and observations that relate to your industry or things that you're passionate about. But remember that LinkedIn is professional, and we want to make sure that our audience is going to consume the professional content that we deliver to them. And number 6, make sure to respond to messages promptly, especially through LinkedIn. If you wait a day or more, people will understand that you don't really have time for them or you don't really care about them. Make sure you're on top of that and that you respond to messages as promptly as you can. Number 7, optimize your page for SEO. That's a very specific and understandable tip for LinkedIn, and that's about it. So we're going to wrap up with some questions. If you want to, please send your questions to webinars@nuvi.com. I will respond personally to all of those. There's probably going to be some very specific questions regarding each of these platforms, and so we want to be able to answer and respond to all those questions through webinars@nuvi.com. And remember that we have a second webinar coming up, the second part of this webinar series. It's called The Don'ts of Social Media, the things you're going to want to make sure to avoid, and it is on November 30th, 2 weeks from today, and it will be me again, Scott Kendall Brown, as your presenter. So thank you so much for joining us on this webinar. We will email this complete webinar to you in case you weren't able to join for the entire time, and we will also be posting it on our YouTube channel, a Nuvi YouTube channel where you can find the complete webinar. So thank you so much for joining, and can't wait to hear from your comments, questions at webinars@nuvi.com. Thank you so much.